Hi, I'm Elizabeth Mitchell. I am doing an FrConvention and having the best time for Once Upon a Time. So I had worked with the people who wrote Once Upon a Time on Lost, and I really liked them. And so when they asked me, they called me and said they were thinking about doing a character kind of from Frozen, and I thought, well, that's really interesting. And then it really started to percolate, and then I started to listen to the Frozen soundtrack nonstop, and I was like, what is it? What could it be? Like, I can't be that, or I'm not that, so what is it gonna be? And when this character came to me, when they had sent me what they had written and their idea for it, I was just thrilled. I was cross-country trip with my son, and I remember just being like, oh, amazing! So I thought, how wonderful. Let It Go is huge. We were all singing it, even like my little, 5-year-old son at the top of our lungs. I think had I'd been one of the characters in Frozen, I would have felt a lot of pressure. But I think because I got to be my own little, nemesis. I think for me it felt pretty free, and I was excited just to see what we could do. I mean, I quite liked it. I liked her Clark Kent moment, when she's hiding. and then she does the ice cream and you're like, wait. So I think I always love that kind of like pretending to be good and to see what that looks like. But I think, villains are the most fun. I mean, because you have a lot of freedom. I mean, good only looks a certain way, right? But bad comes in so many flavors. And I think also I walk through life trying to do no harm. So I think for me, given that I am not a jerk in real life, or I try not to be, that villains are fun. Something to explore, and you absolutely can't hurt anybody with the exploration. It's like a safe way of seeing what feeling like a jerk would be like. So I think a redemption arc is one of my favorite things. Every time someone goes down a really dark road, I think in the audience, I'm always really rooting for them to find their way back. Because it hurts, right? When you've gone off the path of what feels right to you, it hurts. So for me as an audience member, I always root for people who find their way back. They find their way back to their own souls and their own way of thinking about life, and so I love a redemption arc. I look for them in all my characters, even if it's just a little bit. I loved her redemption arc. I mean, I never watched the last episode because it was so dramatic and vulnerable and all those things, so it's just not something that I I did it, and then there's it. But I absolutely loved it. I think they did such a good job of writing a really tortured person, and if she acts one way and we see why after a while. And I think the fact that they show her world from her perspective, so we can see inside her head and the why of it. I kind of used to think, and I still do that a little bit in life, that if we were more like that, we had a little bit more empathy as to why people behave the way they do, we'd be a kinder world, maybe. Oh, everybody, because I spent so much time in my cave. I'm having such a lovely time today because I'm having a chance to talk with everybody, but I thought everyone was so good and so, fantastic. And so I think everybody, all the villains, I feel like I never get a chance to be with them, and they're so great. So I think all of them, such strong, lovely, amazing women. So I feel like that's what I would like to do. A little villain convention, where they all get together and they just, out-villain each other. Oh, fantastic. That was so long ago, but the lovely thing about lovely actors is they continue to be lovely. The really good people who care about it and who care about the work and who care about how they walk through life. You meet them, in their 20s, and you meet them in their 30s, and you meet them in their 40s, and you're like, they're just as lovely as they ever were. Not more so. I think we get even slightly more who we are as we age. representation in TV at that time, it was so challenging, wasn't it? So I did GIA, and then I did ER, and then I did Nurse Betty, and I had so many friends who were coming out at the time, and their families wouldn't speak to them, and I just found it to be so awful. It's such a hot button topic for me, because I can't believe we're not allowed to just love who we love. And why on earth wouldn't we love our children if they decide they want to love something outside of what people consider to be the right thing? How do we know? So for me, I've just always thought love is love, and it made me crazy that people didn't feel that way. And it made me crazy that because what I wanted and desired was on the level of what society deemed acceptable, that I was accepted. It made me crazy. So I think that's where it all came from. I was so anxious to represent what I was seeing and the love that I was seeing, and trying to put a face to it in the way that people would. I don't know, it's such a hard time. It's so much better now. I have friends now who in their 20s, their parents didn't even speak to them. And here they are in their 50s, and they're happily married, and they're living these beautiful lives, but I can't believe their bravery, So, yeah. That was the main reasons, walking through high school and walking through college and seeing things that I just didn't understand. It's just so, everyone's like, yeah, I'm happy to do that. And now, with representation being the way that it is, to me, I'm happy to just take a step back and say, yes, please. Have everybody be right who they are, and let's see it. Let's love it. Oh my gosh, Lost came about. I just had my son. And I feel really lucky about that, because I went into the audition and I was like, what are they doing? I'm exhausted. I just want to go feed my son. Look at all these people here. I'm never going to get it. I just went in there and gave a very kind of angry, abrupt, performance, and then went home. And then after the 5th or 6th audition, I was like, holy wow, this is going to happen. So my experience was sleepless, because I was feeding my son and then working all day and then coming back and being with him. But I think I was so in awe of the fact that everybody welcomed me with open arms, and I had such incredible freedom to create this character that I actually thought was pretty weird. I didn't think anybody was going to like her, and because we were in such a bubble there, I never for a second thought she would be a popular character, right? Because I just thought it was all. I remember saying to my director, hey, is this too weird? He's like, it's pretty weird. I'm like, cool, okay. So, but I think that, the years of doing it, I grew to love everybody so much. I grew to love the characters so much. I found that kind of way they do it, where you get to see through everybody's eyes, again, like you and I talked about, it's such a great way of thinking about life, where we have that empathy of making other people the main characters sometimes. So that was it. That was my experience. And then I found out I was going to die, and I was devastated. And then everybody rallied around me, and then it was really lovely. And then I think the film got broken, and we had to do it again. But no, it was 3 years of camaraderie and love, and really good work. Work I was really proud of. So it's nothing but good in my mind. And I came out with a beautiful friend, Angelina. So